Hello friends, how are you all? I'm Nupur. Welcome everybody to my YouTube channel Nature at the Very Core of Science. Today I have picked up a topic, the Cold War. Let's see what is this Cold War, how it just happened in the world. Obviously it's a part of the world history and also the US history. In 1945, the big three Allied leaders, US Franklin D. Roosevelt, from Britain Winston Churchill, and from USSR Joseph Stalin. They met at the Yalta Conference to plan for the post-war world. So this is about after Second World War. So they agreed that Germany would be defeated and occupied, and they discussed the future of Eastern Europe. Now, one key promise was that free elections would be held in nations, those are liberated from Nazi control. However, the phrase free elections meant different things to each side. The United States and Britain, they thought the genuine multi-party democracy. But Stalin, he focused on Soviet security after the enormous wartime losses. And he also wanted governments on the USSR's borders that would be reliably friendly to Moscow. Now, after a few months, so by that time Germany has surrendered, leaders met again at the Potsdam Conference. And by then, Roosevelt had died and Harry Truman represented the United States. On the other hand, Britain shifted leadership during the conference. So Potsdam confirmed that Germany would be divided into occupation zones and that the Allies would pursue demilitarization and denazification. But tension grew over reparations. That means how Germany would pay for the damage they have caused to the whole world. And the Soviet role in Eastern Europe, that also became a great concern. So the conferences revealed a growing reality. And that was the wartime alliance was turning into a struggle over who would shape the peace. So now what happened to Berlin? It became a divided city and basically a symbol of tension. And that is very much understandable. After World War II, Germany was divided into occupation zones, which are controlled by the United States, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. Although Berlin was located deep within the Soviet control zone, the city itself was also divided among the four powers. This arrangement quickly became a source of tension. In 1948, the Soviet Union attempted to force Western powers out of Berlin by blocking all land roads into the city. In response, the United States and its allies organized the Berlin Airlift, flying food, fuel, and supplies into the West Berlin for nearly a year. This airlift demonstrated Western commitment to protecting the city and eventually forced the Soviet Union to lift the blockade. Tensions continued in the following years as Germany became permanently divided into East and West. In 1961, the Soviet-backed the East German government built the Berlin Wall to prevent people from fleeing to the West. The wall became a powerful symbol of Cold War division and conflict. There is also another concern at that time, that is the major ideological, political, and economic differences. At the heart of the Cold War were fundamental differences between the two superpowers. The United States, it was a democratic republic with regular elections, protections for civil liberties, and a capitalist economy based on private ownership and competition. American leaders believed that political freedom and economic choice created prosperity and stability. On the other hand, the other superpower, that is the Soviet Union, operated under a one-party communist system. Political power was centralized opposition was restricted, and major industries were owned by the state. Soviet leaders argued that capitalism produced inequality and economic crisis, while communism promised fairness and collective progress. Each side believed its system was not only superior but necessary for global stability, making compromise difficult. The third point was military alliance and a divided world. These tensions eventually solidified into formal alliances. The United States and its allies formed NATO, that is, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, a collective defense agreement that stated that an attack on one member would be treated as an attack on all. NATO aimed to protect Western Europe and discourage aggression through unity. In response, the Soviet Union created the Warsaw Pact, binding Eastern European communist states into a shared military structure under Soviet leadership. These alliances basically deepened global divisions and reinforced the idea of two opposing camps. By the late 1940s, the world was clearly split along ideological lines, setting the stage for decades of Cold War tension fought through diplomacy, military buildup, and proxy conflicts rather than direct war.